Hey there, I'm Steve Saunders on Cloud9, and today we're going to be talking about AI-driven intelligent cloud migration. That's a big and important topic in our industry right now. Almost all telcos have already begun their cloud journey, but transitioning existing applications and data can be really complex. It can be really difficult. Now, AI could potentially be a game changer in the future if it delivers on the promise to streamline those migrations. AI-driven cloud migration could have the power to revolutionize cloud adoption, leveraging automated tools and advanced capabilities for faster, more accurate results. Now, with AI's intelligence, more applications could be refactored and replatformed, which will help increase the value of cloud adoption by enabling true elasticity and agility for migrated applications. So all of this could mean increased efficiency, value, and ROI, making the cloud business case significantly more compelling. Well, with me today to discuss these issues is somebody who's superbly qualified to talk about them, which is Stephen Ellis, who's the division president and general manager of Amdocs Cloud. Stephen, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hello, Steve. Thank you for having me.
So, Stephen, can you provide us with an overview of the current landscape regarding the adoption and transition to the cloud within service providers?
Like as with all things, I think there's a wide diversity of where CSPs are in their cloud journey. But I think in general, you will have heard lots of market making commitments to cloud with the hyperscalers. But I think the actual transition to cloud, we're still in the early innings of adoption. I think CSPs have focused on the early wins, which is primarily like the infrastructure, rehost, lift and shift use cases. But now, as those things have started to complete, we're pivoting our attentions into more of an application modernization story. All right, so these are going to be applications that enjoy some benefit to leveraging cloud native capabilities, and frankly, they're a little bit more difficult to get into the cloud. So I think the as we pivot into more of the modernization story, I think our CSP providers are finding more challenges as it comes to how do you select the right applications to modernize in the cloud? What's the business case for actually doing that piece of work? How much effort is that work going to entail to achieve the benefit? I think there's a lot of upside for the cloud story as you start to shift your perspective from rehosting and infrastructure upgrades into application upgrades. But I think folks are really just starting to get into this problem set now.
And what about AI? AI comes along, and how does that change the world for telcos as they embark on a cloud journey? Is it good news?
Yeah, well, I think there's probably two areas, right? I think in addition to application modernization, clearly customer and CSP specifically are doing a data modernization to unlock AI capabilities within their firms. But I think when it comes to the application modernization side of the house, I think there's a lot of technology that is available to help accelerate the modernization of those applications by leveraging AI either in the discovery and the planning parts of your modernization or in the actual execution and the transition of those technologies into cloud native capabilities. So I think you're going to see an evolving set of tools that'll be primarily driven through AI capabilities to assist in that modernization effort.
Just talk to us a little bit more about those tools. Can you put a little bit more sort of flesh on the bones, as it were? I mean, what sort of things is Amdocs thinking about developing, or developing for that matter, actually developing in R&D right now that will help telcos, which with what is frankly quite an anxiety-inducing and overwhelming shift, isn't it?
Like, first of all, I think what the goals are is how do we get more value out of our cloud investments, right? And I think when you look at the infrastructure modernization approach, like there's definitely benefits there, but as you get more cloud native with your applications, the expectation is you get more and more value of the elasticity and the cloud native capabilities and services that you may not have on prem. Those sorts of things should be unlocked as we take advantage of this. Now, When it comes to how AI fits into the story, you have different tools for different parts of the life cycle of that mass modernization journey. So the first step that you have to do is you have to analyze your existing portfolio of applications, and you need to figure out what is the right disposition of those applications into the cloud. Some of them are going to be rehosted, some of them are going to be replatformed, some of them will be refactored, some of them will be replaced. So AI can assist in the discovery and the dispositioning of that portfolio of applications. And I think AI can also help you figure out like the best path for each of those applications into the cloud. So how can AI help us actually evaluate what does this application do? What is its its modernization path into the cloud? How can it help us actually disposition through the recommended R? And then how can it help us actually estimate the effort and the benefit that would come with moving that application to the cloud according to that R recommendation? So I think that's how AI can kind of help us from a planning and discovery perspective. I think AI can also help us during the transition into the cloud as well. So once we figured out what we want to put into the cloud and how we want to put it into the cloud, someone's actually got to go in and do the work. Today, that's primarily a human-led effort. However, we're seeing tools come to the market that starts to help automate this stuff more and more and more. Right. One of the large use cases that I see when it comes to modernizing is how do you split monolithic applications up into microservices? How do you containerize those applications? And right now, that's very much a handcrafted exercise. But we are starting to see tools that can figure out how to break apart these monoliths and start to auto-generate the microservices and the container code. Another use case that I see a lot of is the mainframe. As customers start to look at their legacy mainframe systems, they don't want to be in COBOL anymore. They don't want to be in these antiquated programming languages. How do you get these things into modern programming languages using AI and code language translation tools? Everyone's kind of heard of like ChatGPT and the abilities for ChatGPT to do these types of things. I think you're going to see more and more types of tools come out that assist in the conversion and the transition into cloud native. And then once you get the applications finally into the cloud, there's the validation side of the house. So how do you actually make sure what you've transitioned to the cloud actually works? So how do you automate the regression testing? AI can play a huge role in helping us automate like the testing frameworks as well.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, there's a split in the world right now. On the one side, we have traditional service providers, and on the other side, we have hyperscalers. They come from different universes. Hyperscalers, they're quite arrogant. They don't really feel the need to interoperate with others. They offer very significant benefits, of course, and they're growing, rapaciously. On the other side, we have telcos and service providers, carriers, and they have a different set of strengths. They have very high level of trust with their customers. They understand reliability. They understand customer service. They understand how to run global networks in a very reliable way. Do you think AI is a technology that can perhaps help service providers compete at a global level with hyperscalers, or are these two different? Are these always going to remain two different animals in the communications universe?
We definitely see overlap between where hyperscalers want to go and where CSPs are looking to go. We see many of our customers trying to build their own at scale clouds. And I guess if the question is, can AI help these folks compete? Listen, I think there's lots of room in the market for a variety of solutions when it comes to cloud. I see spaces where CSPs can play large roles in like clouds that need to be geographically defined, right? So, certain data has to live within, the national perimeter, and a hyperscaler solution may not be like the best fit. So therefore, a local solution may make more sense. How AI fits into that? Like, listen, I firmly believe that AI can help all enterprises. We know that the hyperscalers are ahead of the game. They're helping unlock AI capabilities for all enterprises, but they've also been leveraging AI for their own enterprise for a long period of time. So, they've got the benefit of being ahead, but that doesn't mean that the CSPs can't catch up leveraging AI as they start to define how they want to be in business, and whether that's competing with the hyperscalers or leveraging the hyperscaler services to build their own business.
And do you think that regulatory and compliance could be one area, particularly in the financial community, where AI could be useful? It seems like an obvious play to me, making sure that people are following their local and geo compliance rules, or do you think that's still going to stay with the human operators because of trust issues? I guess that kind of depends on where people are with their comfort level with AI, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I think, listen, like technology and compliance and regulations, especially when it comes to cloud, getting that framework right is going to define how you adopt cloud. All right, you got to be compliant. You got to be in line with like the regulatory regime. I don't believe handcrafting that is like the right answer. I think everyone builds compensating controls into their cloud platform, and they unlock like the services that make sense for them inside those kinds of frameworks. But I think like AI is a huge part of that. Like AI is how you monitor, how your cloud's being used, and what are the rules for your enterprise when it comes to how you want to leverage that cloud. So the observability of your cloud consumption and what you do with that data, like that is a prime place for AI to play. And I think it's a pretty common design tactic to leverage AI for exactly those kinds of workloads.
Most new technologies, doesn't really matter where they sit in the network, suffer some sort of backlash after the initial excitement, don't they? You're in charge of a really important critical division of Amdocs now. When you look at AI, are you worried about, being considered part of this? We had greenwashing, we had cloud washing. Now, are we going to have AI washing? Do you worry about its capabilities being overhyped? How do you keep your feet on the ground in a cloud world and guide your customers appropriately? I guess is my question for you, Stephen.
I think we have to focus on like where the value is, and if AI can help us, like fantastic. Like one of the terms you're going to hear a ton of, like in the market today, is Chat GPT, right? You hear Gen AI, Chat GPT, and it seems like every solution has some influx of Gen AI into those solutions. Like for me, it's about focusing what the business objectives are, and then picking the right like set of tools for the job. A lot of my job today is helping our CSP customers tackle those very complex core, BSS and OSS solutions, and figure out, how does moving to the cloud provide benefit to that organization through agility, through auto scaling, through reliability, and sometimes AI can be helpful for those transformations, but sometimes it's just core cloud capabilities, right? Like how do I break these monoliths apart? How do I leverage modern cloud first architectures to deploy these technologies? And if AI can help get value out of these things, like fantastic. Now I do see a lot of use cases where AI is like super relevant. How we engage with the customers, how we leverage AI to kind of how to kind of measure what that customer's trying to contact us for, and how do we automate kind of like better responses back to achieve better customer satisfaction with our interactions. Like there's lots of natural places for AI to have a role. So I think like I haven't really heard of any like backlash yet. Like obviously, we're in a regulated environment. We're not going to be able to do things that are not compliant with our regulators. But like AI today, I see most of my customers trying to figure out how to leverage AI to extract value out of their cloud investments. I don't really see a slowdown there.
I mean, it seems like AI is going to do more than just make things a bit easier and faster when people are migrating applications to the cloud. It's actually going to change it, the way they do that fundamentally. But how long is it going to take before we see that transformation take place with AI? really taking an integral role in those migrations, do you think, Stephen?
I don't think it's too far off. All right. So when you look at the set of tools that we have available to us today, on the discovery side of the house, we're already leveraging tools like Cast or Edge Cloud to, scan the GitHubs and figure out what kind of applications are in there, how they're architected, automate kind of like some of the disposition of these things. So we're not far off from like a discovery and a planning perspective. I would imagine we'll see some evolution there. When it comes to the actual modernization efforts, you're seeing lots of great tools like Code Pilot from Microsoft when it comes to helping developers, I guess, code things or develop things. We're seeing lots of tooling in the language translation space when it comes to modernizing, antiquated programming languages to modern ones. So, like, the state of the art's there, like, it's happening. Is it all packaged into one cohesive cloud migration framework? Like, perhaps not, but like the bits and pieces of the tools are out there. And I think as we take on more complicated workloads to bring to the cloud, the more automation that we can bring to accelerate and bring consistency to our cloud migrations, I think the more you're going to see big CSPs, adopt and modernize applications. And hopefully what you'll end up seeing is modernize becomes the predominant disposition for those applications as opposed to just rehosting.
Where do you see, this is a good interview question, where do you see Amdocs in 5 years' time?
Oh boy.
I mean, you're at the tip of the spear right now with your job as general manager of Amdocs Cloud. No pressure.
No pressure. I think, listen, we're helping our customers take their core BSS and OSS systems to the cloud. We want to pave a path where our clients can get into cloud native modern architectures that scale and give them all the agility and flexibility that they need to scale their business. Now, we realize that journey, it's a multi-year journey. Okay. And that journey may not mean jumping into the brand spanking new technology right away. It may be a gradual modernization and a gradual transition. So our job over the next 5 years is to, one, get our customers on the path, get them building those roadmaps, evolve the tech stacks that they have today, and build the bridges that unlock the gradual modernization into those cloud native technologies so that we can leverage the cloud native capabilities that allow us to auto scale, that allow us to run resilient architectures with no downtime, but then also to unlock the capabilities that data and AI bring to the table as well, and how we leverage BSS and OSS systems to interact with our customers and drive more value.
It's a very exciting time. You have an interesting job, and I like the. It seems like there's a pragmatism about what you're doing at Amdocs with cloud and AI, which obviously I like a lot, and I'm sure your customers are very happy that you're taking that approach. So, Stephen, I really appreciate you talking to me today. It's an incredibly exciting, fast-moving, and dynamic area, and I hope we can stay in touch as Amdocs continues its good work in this space.
Thanks for having me here today. I do think that telcos are moving to the cloud at scale and at pace, and Amdocs is here to support them. So thank you very much.
You certainly are. Thank you, Stephen.